Have you been thinking about getting into Forex trading? Forex trading opens up a world of opportunity for those who know how to do it properly. You can experience financial freedom and reap tremendous rewards for your trading skills. Unfortunately, many programs make big promises and throw students into the trading market without the proper knowledge and expertise to succeed. Fortunately, there is a solution. Great White FX Academy is the best place to start your Forex trading journey with the tools, resources, and education necessary to help you thrive in the market. Great White FX is an online Forex training platform that provides technical training that will help you succeed. It is of the utmost importance to have a proper qualitative education to participate in Forex trading, and that is exactly what Great White FX focuses on. You can reach us on Facebook at Great White FX and Forex Educational Academy, on Instagram at Great White FX, on Twitter at Great White FX, or call us at 234-803-930-61888. Have you been thinking about getting into Forex trading?
Hello. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, please type in yes. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, please type in yes. If you can hear me clearly and you can see my screen, please type in yes. Okay. So, good evening all. Good evening. You're welcome to today's daily market review with Great White FX. For those of you joining me for the first time, these are my, excuse me, I'm having a bit of a challenge here. These are my social media handles. You could reach me out on any of them, but the Instagram handle has a link that will take you to all these places. So the Instagram handle is your best choice too. You could go there, follow, turn on your notifications so that you can easily reach out to me. And again, registration is ongoing for the next 6 weeks intensive Forex Masterclass. It's very paramount you learn to trade and trade properly, such that you take your own future into your hands. You're not dependent on anybody or any system or any structure. You learn and you learn properly. There's a proper way to learn this business and there's an improper way to learn it. When you learn it properly, you gain confidence in yourself, one, and you gain confidence in your system. I always say this is the formula for success in this business. Knowledge plus experience will give you confidence. Confidence will cancel out fear. You don't gain confidence on a live account. You gain confidence first on a demo before you proceed to a live account. So, that being said, let's get down to our business for today. So, looking at our chart, we always start off with our fundamental calendar so that we have an idea of what scheduled fundamental news release we have tomorrow. That's been the 17th. So looking at this calendar, we have 12 by 2:30 a.m. That's West African time. We have a news coming in on the AUD. If you're hearing me, am I breaking? If I'm breaking, please notify. If you're hearing me clearly, please type in yes. If you're not hearing me clearly, please type in no. If you're hearing me clearly, please type in yes. If you're not hearing me clearly, please type in no. Okay, so by the person who says he's not hearing me clearly, you may need to disconnect and connect back. You may need to disconnect and connect back, please. So by 2:30 a.m. West African time, we have this Australian monetary policy meeting minutes. This is very, very high impact. This might be what the Australian pair is waiting for to catapult north. You need to be careful of it. You must not have any Aussie-based pair carried overnight, except you're going to be awake by 2:30 to watch over it. But apart from that, tomorrow is almost crystal. Is it going to be a clear weather day? No high impact news. All these are just minor impacts. They don't really cause so much headache. But then fireworks, heavy cloud activity expected tomorrow. See all this red. That's heavy cloud impact. So we need to be aware of that. So that out of the story, let's get down to our business for the day. So as always, we first start with our dollar index. As always, we start with our dollar index. So as I said yesterday, the dollar index found support here. Just like I said, if it goes below here, it's going to continue down. But you see, immediately it dropped, it bounced up. So most likely, the distance from price point to this place, price is closer to this point than this point. So price might most likely run up towards this level. Might most likely run up here. But should it come down here, as long as it stays above this zone, as long as price, sorry, as long as you have price, as long as you have price above 98.26, there is a big tendency that this price might still continue up. So we need to be aware of that. The dollar index for now has a bullish bias. If we look at it from the daily point of view, let's look at it from the daily point of view. As you can see, still looking bullish. But there is a little trend line. There is a trend line coming from this point to this point. So there's a trend line there. So that's the trend line here. That's a trend line here. So if it stays below the trend line, it may come back down. As you can see, this is the overall picture of the dollar index. So there's a possibility it might run up here. But should it run up here and fail to break here, it might come back down. But should you see something like this, then it's going to continue higher. So the next one I'll be looking at is gold. Just like I said yesterday also, this area, gold was sitting above it and immediately it hit back up. So now the storyline for this pair is, if it stays above this prior zone, it will still continue back up. And how do we know that is going to happen? We need to see price stay above this level to continue up. If it goes below here, you wait for something like this and they move lower. That is it for gold. If we look at gold on our daily view, we look at gold from our daily view. Well, wicks to the top side is not positive for gold. You can see. So which means that it might still drop, but if it stays above here, it might still continue not. So that's just it for gold for now. That's just it for gold. If it stays above this zone here, this shaded zone, it will continue back up. But if it comes in here and breaks below it, you wait for a break, retest, and they move lower. This blue level here is this area here. That is 1479.74. So that's it for gold. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the USD CHF. Looking at the USD CHF, this trend line, price came down to it, the trend line held. So now we will say price is in a kind of a triangle. It needs to break this zone to continue bullish. So you can see it's kind of like consolidating within this area. So you just need to know where your consolidation top is and where your consolidation bottom is, and take your trades according to it, according to how it plays out. So I can say with this recent move on this trade, we can adjust this trend line to look like this. So this is our new trend line on this pair. So as long as this trend line holds, price needs to break this upper zone to continue north. So the next one we'll be looking at is Euro USD. So looking at the Euro USD, this area we pointed out, I said this area is resistance and this trend line. So it dropped. So now the question on the Euro USD is, as long as it stays above here, this is the line in the sand. If this level gives way, price is going to go lower. But as long as price stays above here, there is a tendency it may move back up. And like I pointed out yesterday, this drop, I said it's at the resistance. If it doesn't break up, you need a good 4-hour close below 1075. And this was a 4-hour close. And after that, price dropped how many pips? Let's take a look at that. That was almost a 59 pip drop. That's not bad for a trading day. Then the next pair we're going to look at is Euro GBP. So looking at this Euro GBP, like I said, this falling, you see this channel, this is it here. So price rallied into this zone, didn't break above and dropped. So now the question is, as long as price stays above this level, there's a tendency they may try this level again. But should it break below here, you need to see a break, a retest, and a move lower. Because one thing with this Euro GBP is that it is good at setting up traps. So you need to be very, very much aware of that. As you can see, if it starts going back up, then you know there's a possibility. Above this area, above 89.05, that's 0.8905 on Euro GBP will be bullish. That means it's going to try to attempt this upper line here. But for now, it still has a bullish bias, but the bullish bias is thinning out. The momentum is almost like thinning out. So let's see if they might try to spike down tomorrow. But for now, it's still likely to the downside. The next pair we'll be looking at is the GBP USD. So looking at the GBP USD, if we look at it from the daily point of view, you could see there is something here, the level here, this area here. You see as price hit it, and price now is finding support above it. So the storyline now with this pair is that you see all these levels here, these are levels of support. As long as price stays above all these levels, it has a tendency to come back to this zone here that it dropped from. And we pointed this out yesterday. This drop was what some good pips. That was what 60 pips, 60 pip drop. So now it's finding support. As long as this support area holds, there's a tendency that price might still go back up. And then you have this trend line here. Let me draw it properly. We have this trend line here still holding. So if this trend line is the last line of defense, if it gives way, then we might see a drop. But as long as price stays above this level, we might see a second retest of this area. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the GBP CHF. So looking at the GBP CHF, it looks like GU, it ran into this zone and dropped, but it hasn't come down to test this level. So he's still bullish, but he may consolidate a bit before deciding his next line of action. A move above 1.2410 will continue the move up. But if it stays below 1.2410, then we might see a bit of weakness. And we know that there is going to be GBP news on Thursday. So we need to be aware of that while we are trading any GBP cross. So the next pair we're looking at is the GBP USD JPY. That's the pound dollar yen. So looking at this pair, just like I pointed out yesterday, it's trapped people here and moved back. So that's why you need to know where your levels are. Because if you didn't have this, assuming you were looking at this USD JPY, if we're looking at this USD JPY on a plain chart, let me get rid of all this. If we're looking at it on a plain chart on the 4-hour, this red candle is a bearish engulfing candle. although it had wick to the low, but if you don't know, you would have sold here. And when you sell there, where are you selling into? Into a support zone. To a support zone. And then you'll be wondering why price started going back up. So these are things you need to be aware of whenever you're taking your trades. So the next pair I'll be looking at is the Euro Yen. And looking at this Euro Yen from a daily point of view, let's see this Euro Yen from a daily point of view. Looking at this Euro Yen from, let me get rid of all this. Well, now there's a bit of a challenge. This is a bearish reversal pattern, but it still has a bullish bias. So let's go to the weekly. Let's see how the weekly closed. Well, just like I said yesterday, sometimes all you just need to do is, if you know how to use the fib, on the weekly candle, you pick from the bottom to the top. And as you can see, price has tested the 50% of the weekly. So if we go back here, the line in the sand, I always like having what you call a line in the sand. The line in the sand on this pair is 117.55. As long as price stays above here, there's a tendency it might still go back up. But once this level gives way, the next level is going to be here. So that's just it for this pair. But if you look at it on the daily point of view, this might just be a correction to continue back up. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the pound yen. Look at the pound yen from the daily point of view. Well, this one is still looking very, very bullish. But I have my concerns with this pound yen. Let's go to our intraday charts to look at what my concerns are. Looking at the pound yen, it needs to take out this level here, this entire area. They need to give way. As you can see, 1.3390 is holding as support. If that level gives way, then the next level is going to be here. So you might see a retest of this level. Should this level hold as support, as resistance, then you might take a short position down to this area. That's upon a retest and failure at this area. Should it retest this area and this area holds as resistance, then the drop might be hard. So the next pair we're going to look at is the AUD USD. So the AUD USD has broken this trend line, but not by much. So it's retesting it, so it might drop, but it might also move back higher. It still has this bullish bias, but it will be complete once they move above 68.98 as this level here. Once they can comfortably close above this level, then the bullish bias on this pair is solid. But for now, you need to be careful until after the monetary policy minutes by 2:30 a.m. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the Euro AUD. So looking at the Euro AUD, well, it's come back again to this trend line. Seems they want to break this trend line this time around. As you can see, they've closed back below it on the daily. You can see, which means there might be potential of further drop down to this area. If we look at it, it's sitting above this area here, 1.6026. As long as this level holds, this level here holds, there is a potential that price might still move up a bit. But should this level give way, what you'll be expecting is something like, should be expecting something like this, and then you move lower. That's what you will be expecting on this pair. So the next pair that we're looking at is the GBP AUD. I don't have this pair. I don't think I worked on it, but I think I did. Basically, this seems to be his range. This is the top range. See, moved into it and dropped, and this is the support level. So it's just the range. This pair, basically, if you look at it, although it's slightly moving up, but it's been ranging from this point to this point. So that's just what you need to be aware of. So it's not always advisable to take a trade midpoint, because you might take a short position, you might go up, you might take a long position, you might go down. So it's always wise to take a trade from an area of importance. So looking at this pair, something like yesterday, I said it may drop, and it did drop, but this level holds. So as long as this level holds, the USD CAD is still moving up. But should this level give way, then it's going to drop, because if we look at this pair on the daily time frame, or something I spotted out on the daily time frame, this level here, 31.43. Long as it is holding, they are going to move higher. So that is it for today's daily currency review. I thank you all for coming. Once again, these are my Telegram, my social media handles. And don't forget, the registration for the ongoing 6 weeks intensive Forex Masterclass is still ongoing. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on any of these Telegram handle, or you can go to the Instagram handle. On the link in my bio, you can chat with me directly via Telegram or WhatsApp, as you may choose. The video for this session will be uploaded on the YouTube channel. The link also on the Telegram page. You can watch it from there. The charts will be posted on the Instagram and Facebook handle. So once again, thank you all for coming, and wish you all a beautiful night's sleep and a wonderful trading day ahead. Thank you all.